Good morning, fellow firewood fanatics. This is Chris, and we're on the edge of the wood yard. Today is a day that I think I'm going to do a bunch of splitting of wood. But first, I've got dandelions to mow, as you can see. I've got a bumper crop of dandelions here going on my property. All the way out there, it's knee-deep dandelions. Must be time to harvest. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing today, is cutting some dandelions. I got to do that. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of splitting. I've got some stuff left that I haven't gotten to yet, so I'll show you that. I've been gone for a couple days. I was helping my son build a new deck at his house he bought. So that's what I've been doing, is construction work. But today I would like to get this little bit of cherry here split, this little bit of cottonwood split put in there, and then there's some rounds back there that need to be done. So that needs to be done. Hopefully either today, tomorrow, the next day. That's all I got to get done. And then this pile back here, I did work on it for a couple hours the other night. It was raining, and I got a little bit more done on the pile of ash here. So I'm getting close to getting to where it's almost done. So I got a little bit of pine over there. This right here is a little bit of white oak, and then most of this is ash. There's a little bit of poplar and cottonwood in there, and I'll throw that into the pile. And then the stacking will begin. So that's what I got a lot to do. Stacking, stacking, stacking. I got all this pine here, all the cottonwood here, and then I got a lot of oak back over there on that side. And then way back over that way, I've got a whole bunch of cherry to stack yet. So I think I've got somewhere, if I was just to guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of, it's got to be close to 200 face cords of wood that needs to be stacked. But my teenager, not mine, it's a friend of mine, his son works for me every summer, and he just contacted me the other day and he says he's ready to work. So I told him, he wanted to know how many hours that I had available for him to work. I said all of the hours. So he knows he's going to be working, and he's a good worker. So he'll be coming probably in the next, I think he said next couple of days he'll be done with all of his school stuff and he'll be able to come and help. Anyway, today is a day of work with work on top of work. So here we go. Well, friends, I've got my mowing done for the day. I just finished mowing. We mow about 2 acres of our 4 acres. It was all pretty much dandelions. I mean, there's a lot of dandelions. And I got that done. That took a couple hours, and now I'm going to attack the pile here and do some splitting. And I was just kind of lining up some of these rounds that were off to the side. I kind of threw them over this way, because I like to work so that my wood is either right behind me, right next to me, so I don't have to go for it. So what I like to do is either back up the splitter so my back is to the wood, or have it right next to me so I can just reach and grab it from here and then put it there. So when I clear this out, then I'll turn the splitter this way so the wood again is on my left hand side or behind me, because I'm going to be throwing it that direction. And so yeah, what I did, it's going to get really loud here. There's a jet coming now. It's probably another one of my jets coming in for a landing, I think. Yeah, I think it's one of mine. Looks like it. Yeah, well, mine. Okay, enough of that. So I didn't talk during that time because it's always really loud. That one wasn't too loud. So what I was doing as I was putting the pieces over here to the side, I found that in this particular pile I had 5 different kinds of wood, and then the pile right over here I had a couple other kind of pieces, because I like to keep them separated, like the offspring talk about or sing about. I like to keep them separated. What I did was I brought them over here, and I got similar size rounds. There's 7 of them here that I found, 7 different kinds I have right now. I'm going to split them one at a time. For those of you that maybe never split this kind of wood before, and I'll show you the differences. So this first one is right here. I'm going to start with what I consider the easy ones. This is a piece of poplar or aspen. This is a piece of pine. It's jack pine. This is a piece of cherry. This is a piece of ash. This one right here is white oak. And then I have cottonwood, and then I have the nasty one that is elm. So in my opinion, from my experience, that woods like the aspen and the pine and the cherry split pretty easy. So these are the 3 easy ones. Ash can be a little bit harder. It's real similar to white oak in that it can sometimes be a little bit stringy. It just depends if there's knots and things like that, obviously, like any other wood. So those 2 are very similar. And then the cottonwood can be really hard to split because that can be very stringy. It can end up looking like some of this cottonwood that's over here when you split it. For some reason, the grain like twists and you get this nasty looking stuff like when you split elm. So it can be, it can look like this. But then there's other times you split it and it comes out real nice and smooth like this. So I don't know, it's just the way the grain of the wood is. And that's true of a lot of different species, that sometimes they split easier than other pieces of the same kind of tree. So I'm going to start with the aspen, go to the jack pine, then we're going to do the cherry, then we're going to do the ash, then we're going to do the white oak. Then I am going to do the cottonwood, and then we're going to finish up with the nasty one at the end, that is the elm. Because in my opinion, elm sucks. It's nice wood for heating, but it's a pain because it's all interwoven, twisted. So we're going to do some splitting right now. Okay, so there you have it. I split the 7 different kinds of wood that I have. I tried to have, similar size rounds, so there wasn't a big 30-incher and a little bitty 4-incher. So you saw kind of what they look like when they split. I'd be very interested in the comments if you guys would write down what you have for wood, what you like for wood as far as splitting and burning, that kind of stuff, and wood that you don't like. That'd be interesting to find out too. Now, one of the things that I hear in comments from people once in a while is the people that are what I call wood snobs, the people that will only burn red oak or will only burn hickory or only want birch or only want cherry. Fine, I don't care. I'm not in a position to say what you should burn. The reason I have the wood, different kinds of wood that I have, is number one, all this wood that I have right here and everything that I've been splitting for the last week was free wood. And that's the best kind of wood there is free wood, because I can sell it and make some money on it. And I am in the business to sell wood. And when people that I call the wood snobs will make comments about, oh, I would never even consider waste my time cutting down a aspen or a poplar tree or a box elder or a cottonwood tree, that's fine. I sell it for $100 a face cord for campfire wood. It doesn't matter to me. A lot of the people that I sell to do not know the difference between a white oak and a white pine. They don't know that one puts out twice as much as far as BTUs. They don't care. They just want wood that's going to burn. They want dry wood. That's the number one thing. Oh, another one of my planes flying over. So they just want dry wood, and they want wood that's going to work for their purpose. And that can be anywhere from having a fire, 2 or 3 times a summer in their fire pit, to where they're burning it every night. So there are people that do specifically buy from me that want the red oak and want the white oak, or they want, the hickory, stuff like that, and that's fine. But I make money on all of it. It doesn't matter to me what kind of wood it is. If I had to pick just one kind of wood to sell, it probably would be red oak. It splits pretty easy, cuts pretty easy. It's probably by far the most asked for, in demand kind of wood. Everybody around here seems to know what it is, and a lot of people don't know the difference between a white and a red oak. I like the red because I think it dries a little faster, splits a little easier. But anyway, you got to see kind of how these all split. The pine right here, the jack pine, you could see it split real easy. That pops apart like all pine pretty easy. This aspen right here, which was the next one, that split real easy too, worked really good. The cherry always splits really good. I like the cherry because it's easy to cut, easy to split, smells fantastic. The white oak right here, that usually is a little more stringy, where to me it's really similar to ash. It even looks very similar to ash, except for ash you get this little white streak on the outside usually. Not always, but usually. And then the cottonwood, this was a pretty easy one. It split pretty well because didn't have all that intertwined grain that can happen sometimes. And of course the villain, the hated elm, always splits hard, and I can always tell with the splitter when I'm splitting elm. It just really has a hard time getting through that end grain to start with, because the grain on it is so intertwisted, and it's just nasty stuff, especially when you get to have big rounds or crotches, or where there's old knots in it. It's some tough stuff. But to me, it doesn't matter. It all burns, it all sells, and that's what I'm here for, is to sell wood. So it'd be interesting in the comments if you guys want to go ahead and write down, what kind of wood you like the most, what kind of wood you hate the most, what kind of wood you burn the most, what you have the most access to, and if you're selling wood, what your customers want too. It'd be just kind of interesting. I sell my wood basically in 3 different varieties. I have heating wood, which is the white oak, red oak, hickory, and cherry, and maybe a little bit of elm in there too, and probably the ash. Those 5 kinds kind of as the main hardwood that I sell for heating purposes and for just fireplace use. And then I have mixed hardwood, which is basically going to be everything from aspen to I know some of you are going to say aspen's not a hardwood. Well, yes it is. It's a deciduous tree. It loses its leaves every year. It's a hardwood. So but the mixed hardwood can be anything from like soft maple to the aspen, like I said, box elder, cottonwood, the wood that a lot of people consider trash trees or trash wood. I sell it. I sell lots of it. And then from there, I've got my softwoods, which is white pine, red pine, jack pine, spruce, and balsam. So those are kind of how I group them, those 3 different kinds. And usually I really only sell them by having mixed hardwood or just the straight type of wood, which is, you know, like a white oak or red oak. I sell that kind of as an individual kind of wood. And then I have my softwoods, which are, you know, the pines and things like that. So there you go. There's the lesson for the day. Wood splitting, different kinds. Fun. The sun has set. My body is sore. I am hungry. I abandon ship. So here's where I started the other day, somewhere in here, and just walking past the pile so you can see how much I got done. A bunch. I still have a lot to go. There's a lot of ash here. It doesn't seem to end. I've been splitting on this pile for, seems like forever, because it's a big pile and it just keeps growing. So yeah, I did all the splitting. All this is new right in here today. That is what is left. Still quite a bit. There's still at least, oh boy, there's got to be at least 2, maybe 3 trailer loads full, which means that's 10, 12 face cords. And I still have this stuff over here to do and some up front. It never ends. But today it ends, 'cause I'm going home. So please poke the like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff that everybody likes to do. Poke the buttons. Remember, that's your job. Just poke a button once in a while. And I'll see you tomorrow. Same wood time, same wood channel. It's time for us to say goodnight to Irene. Good night, Irene.